Hello and welcome to this session on burnout recovery. So I'm going to be giving you a sequence to do that you can use when you're just feeling that you're nearing that edge. And when I say edge, you know when you're near that edge because certain things will happen. You'll feel very wired, when you get quite stressed and then you walk away from the stress or you finish the day and it sort of dissipates. When you're nearing burnout, it's a very different feeling. It is quite literally as though you're an electric wire. You're literally like your electric wire and everything is just on high intensity. When I was nearing the edge, so back in 2018, that's when I really knew that something wasn't right. I just couldn't bring myself back down to normal. I just constantly felt quite jittery and just almost very highly strung. And I couldn't understand why, but I was like, this is a new feeling. I don't know this feeling. And I remember saying to my fiance, to my hubby-to-be at the time, I remember laughing at myself because I said, I think I need to be hospitalized for exhaustion. At which point he sort of looked at me and was like, really? But that is how my body then started to feel. So it kind of goes from feeling very wired to exhaustion, and then you go to this period of just being, if you don't catch yourself, you can go to the period of what the body does is bring itself back into a vegetative state. So it will just go into a listless nothingness if you don't listen to the body and do something to restore the nervous system, restore the balance in the body and bring down your cortisol levels. What yoga does, particularly restorative yoga, I talked about this in the rest and restore session, but what restorative yoga does in terms of burnout is it does help to rebalance the nervous system. Importantly, it helps to bring down those cortisol levels. So cortisol is actually really important in the body. Stress in life is natural. It's just chronic stress that we don't want to have. There is good stress, certainly, and we need it to perform well. We need it to protect ourselves, but it's just if we have stress that builds up, then we create negative thought patterns, negative behaviors in the limbic emotional part of our brain. We become very hyper vigilant, very oversensitized, overstimulated, and our cortisol levels can either go up and stay up and be up for too long, and that affects our immune system because there's too much inflammation being reduced, so we're susceptible to disease. But then on the other end of the scale, what can happen when you do burnout is your adrenal glands, which produce the cortisol, they become exhausted and they stop producing cortisol, and then you find yourself in a state of over-inflammation. So the two extremes are not good, and what yoga does is it helps to keep the body in homeostasis and help to keep those cortisol levels at a healthy functioning level. And they also work into the mind as well, into quietening the mind, restoring the mind and body, restoring this connection. So very vital, this connection between mind and body, and we often lose it, particularly when we're out of body. When we're really stressed, we go out of body, and yoga brings us back into our body in a very safe way. So I'm going to start today with some breathing, but I'm just going to move us a little bit, then I'm going to bring us into breath, and then I'm going to bring us into some restorative yoga, which is really yummy. So make sure you're cozy. I've got a nice thick jumper on today because it's not too warm outside. You can have, I don't have socks on, but you can have some lovely cozy socks as well. Round me, I've got a blanket, I've got cushions, I've got blocks, I've got everything that I need, but you can have books instead of blocks if you don't have them. And just come into a seated position. We're going to do a breath called the coherent breath, which helps to, it's quite a meditative breath, so it's very clever in that way because it brings you into a similar state. It's a very simple breath, so it's very easy and it's not forced at all, it's not complicated, and it helps to balance out the nervous system. So initially, let's start the practice, bring our hands into prayer at heart center. Close the eyes. And just notice how your body and mind feels at this moment. Notice if the body's holding any tension that you can feel obviously. Don't worry if not, and don't worry, you don't need to notice and observe anything in particular. It's just getting your mind to start noticing. Then gently flicker the eyes open. Inhale, lift the prayer to the sky. Exhale, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. Bring the right hand in the front, the left hand to the center of the spine on the floor at the back, and then twist through your thoracic. Don't need to yank your neck here, you can just take your neck gently, take your gaze rather, to the left and twist through the thoracic, enjoying that lovely stretch around your heart. Moving into the spine very gently. And coming back to center, twisting on the other side. And bringing the fingertips down onto the mat, extending your right arm up, just gently internally rotating it so the palm faces inwards. Lift that right arm up, then extend before you come over, getting a lovely stretch down your right side body. Then releasing, lifting the left arm, extending upwards and then over. Then releasing and just coming into a gentle flow, just stretching into the intercostal muscles before we come into that breath work. Really helps to move before doing any breath work. And then coming back to neutral, feeling a lift through the front body. Feel the shoulders drop down. Feel the crown of the head lifting whilst grounding down through your sit bones. Always place your hands down on the side. Really press down through the hands, press down through the sit bones. And bring your hands onto your knees. Let's extend the legs just briefly, give them a bit of a shake. So we've been sat there a couple of minutes already. You can create little fists with your hands. Pat down the fronts of the legs, sides of the legs, up the insides of the legs. And then be like Tarzan, do the same on the front of the chest, down to the side of the chest, again into those intercostal muscles, the primary breathing muscles. Up the arms, down the arms, just gently. And then close the eyes. Take a lovely deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just let your breath be natural. But just start to become aware of the breath. Become aware of the inhale and the exhale. The breath as it moves into your nostrils and out again. And just notice where you're breathing. And see if you can direct the breath into the lower part of the lungs, to where your diaphragm will rise and fall, contracting and relaxing. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your jaw relaxed. And just allow your mind just to focus on your breath. Not trying to achieve anything. No goal to be achieved. Not trying to feel any particular way. Just gently, without force, just inhaling and exhaling. And the next stage, I'm going to count us from inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4, up to 5, 5, and then 6, 6. And then I'm going to leave you there for a few minutes. So slowly start to bring your inhale and exhale into an even rhythm. And then I'll start to count. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Then increase, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increase, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then continue the breath, counting to yourself, which in itself is very calming for the mind. And just keep that breath going as it is for a couple of minutes. and I'll bring you out. And then release the breath on the next exhale. And with the eyes still closed, just allow that breath practice to settle. And just observe again how you feel now. Don't worry, you're not expected to feel any particular way. It's just noticing and observing. Without you doing anything, it would have been helping to balance out your nervous system. So that's for certain. And from here, I'm going to move us into the first of a few restorative poses. So this is a supported forward bend. So you can do this, bring your legs out wide. If you're pregnant and doing this, that's completely safe. You can bring your legs slightly more together. You can take a blanket, place it under your sit bones, so you're nice and comfy. That's key. More cushions, the better. And then all you're going to do is slump forward, which is not a term you often use or think about associated with yoga, but you can. Just allow yourself to relax forward. Bring your forehead down or one of your cheeks. Let your whole body relax. So feet are not flexed. You can almost do a body scan, relaxing the body. Allowing the core, importantly, to completely relax. We hold a lot of tension in our core. Round the back. Let the shoulders relax, the jaw relax. And just allow your body to start melting into the cushions. There might be some resistance initially because you're not used to just letting the body drop, but it will go. We'll be here for a few minutes. Your breath can be completely natural. And what this pose is doing is it's quietening our nervous system. It's just giving our bodies a chance to recalibrate and have no need to produce cortisol. By having the props, allows our bodies to relax that bit more. Our hyper-vigilant minds get a lot of messages, rely on messages, biofeedback from our senses. And when we're doing restorative yoga, all the messages going back up to our brain are all positive. There is no threat, the body is safe. Helps to trigger and keep the body and put the body back into a state of rest and digest. What yoga does very effectively, it helps us recover from stress more quickly. So as I said, stress is not bad per se. It isn't. We certainly need cortisol in our bodies, and stress is part of life, but it's that chronic stress that we want to keep away from. And effortless rest, which is what you're doing now, is the best way to do that. If you're on one cheek, just bring the other cheek down. Do another body scan. Just notice any tension you might still be holding and release. Just direct the breath into that part of the body if you can. And just notice how your body is dropping a little bit further. It's just starting to give. And then very slowly lift yourself up. And we're going to come into something called supported bound angle. It's a bit of a, not pain, but you need a few props, but it's really great and super beneficial. So I have a belt. You don't 100% need a belt. You do need 2 bricks or 2 big books. And then what you're going to do is place 2 big cushions to support your back. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Take one end of the belt, place it round under your feet, then bring it over your head to your lower back and tighten it so that it's secure. And from here, you're going to bring 2 bricks to support the knees. And then this is where you need to, and then you're going to bring yourself back so that you're lying on the cushions and your arms are down by your sides. And that is heaven. What the belt does, it's supporting your pelvis, really helps this area, your abdominal region, completely rest. You've got the blocks under your knees. You've got the cushions allowing your back to melt down into the ground. You can close your eyes. And again, no breath work needed. Just allow your breath to flow. Relax the jaw. Take a lovely deep inhale initially. Let's do that. In through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth. Have your hands gently on your belly if that feels more comfortable for you. And we'll be here for a few minutes. What restorative yoga also does is it balances our energy, our upwards flowing energy and our downwards flowing energy. We're always moving, even when we sleep, we're often moving. Restorative yoga gives us that opportunity to bring our body into stillness in the sense it's not moving. Our bodies are never still in the sense there's always activity going. Our heart's pumping blood and oxygen around our body. But our physical body is in effortless rest, as I mentioned earlier. It just gives us, our nervous system, that chance to rebalance, to rest, and to step back from that edge. I can really feel that stillness that I was talking about. My breath, your mind, the breath goes where the mind goes, and the mind goes where the breath goes. I can really feel that my mind has quietened and my breath is really quietened. And you're deep in concentration. You're hardly breathing. But in restorative yoga, just breathing very softly. Your breath is slowing. Your heart rate is slowing. Your blood pressure is slowing. We're winding down the dial. And very slowly remove the blocks and safely transition. So taking the belt away, lifting the cushions to the side, and then lying back down in your Shavasana. So bringing the legs out wide, the arms down by your sides, and we'll just be here for a few moments. And again, notice and observe how the body and mind feels now. Whether you notice any difference from when we started. And take comfort in knowing that we can help our bodies and our minds. We have the power to do so, and we have the tools. And take a lovely deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bring the knees in, give them a squeeze, and extend the arms out, the legs out. Give yourself a good body stretch. Bring the knees back in. Roll onto your right in a fetal position with your hands under your cheek. And then lever yourself up into a seated position. Bring the hands back into prayer at heart center. Close the eyes. Give yourself a mental, invisible, physical hug. You can even wrap your arms around. Give yourself a squeeze. Know you've done the best thing that you can for your body and mind. Then bring your thumbs to your third eye. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, for doing this session. Know that it's always here for you. Use it whenever you need. And if you have any more questions about burnout, any worries, then do just get directly in touch with me via my website, or I'll leave my email in the comments.